Thank you. Welcome to Hanging with Dr. Z. Give yourselves a round of applause for coming down tonight. What a show we have. We have, from the TV's The Incredible Hulk, Lou Ferrigno is here. He's going to wrestle you. And we have from Scooby-Doo and 375 other animated shows, Great DeLisle is here. And that guy your parents don't want too close to the school, Dana Snyder is here. Now look, let me get this out of the way. I know that we are living in a time when you wake up in the morning and you feel that the world has gone insane. And then you turn on the news and it seems to have only gotten worse. Anyway, it's great to be here in Oklahoma City. You know, it's kind of like New York City. The state is called Oklahoma, and then they call the capital Oklahoma City. In New York, the state was called New York. They called it the biggest city, New York City. You know what else you have in common with New York City? Nothing! Not a GD thing. Except maybe alphabetically, Oklahoma starts with an O, and New York smells like pee. So you do get... Oh, but I thank you for coming to GalaxyCon. It's such a lovely... You know why I love GalaxyCon? It's like Halloween before Halloween. You know, you get to dress up, you get to get out your Halloween spirit a little bit early. And Halloween is my favorite holiday. The next big Halloween is when people you don't know come to where you live and take all your stuff. The next big holiday is Thanksgiving, or as Native Americans call it, Halloween. Too soon. I live in Los Angeles, where October is the hottest month of the year. See, back east, when I was in New York, when I did theater in the 60s, back in New York, Halloween was freezing. You'd put on your Halloween costume, and then you have to put your parka on over your costume, and then just go around the neighborhood flashing your neighbors. Who are you? I'm a pirate. Give me the candy bar. Jesus Christ, I'm freezing. My nipples are diamonds. Just let me go home. Then I go to LA, where Halloween is the hottest month of the year. I took my kids to the pumpkin patch. It was just pies. But they start decorating early. When you go into the Walgreens or the CVS, the Halloween decorations go up on August 15th. They're up in the dead of summer. And when they decorate, they always lead with the big three monsters: Dracula, Frankenstein, and older woman. She doesn't even have to have a witch's hat. No, she doesn't need it. Older woman. Can your heart stand the shocking facts of what time and gravity do to the female face? And the terror you feel when they leave the house? But I love horror movies. Do you like horror movies? Yeah? You have a favorite horror movie? Scream. I like Pretty Woman. Oh, you thought I said horror. You ever seen Blackula? Oh, yeah. Blackula's, if you haven't seen it, you have to see it. 1972, William Marshall, who you may know as the king of cartoons on Pee-wee's Playhouse. But before he was the king of cartoons, he was Blackula. And the first scene in Blackula Dracula bites a black guy. This is easily anticipated if you know the name of the movie that you're watching. And then Dracula says, I christen you Blackula. And then they cut. And I wish they would just hold it for 5 more minutes so you could see Blackula go, what the hell did you say my name was, white boy? Just to watch Dracula backpedal. Look, as the king of vampires, I come from a position of privilege, and this is clearly not indicative of how I feel. I don't even eat Count Chocula. Like, you have to understand, I'm an ally. And then Joe Rogan will drag Dracula for backpedaling to Blackula. You can't apologize. You have to double down all the time, especially when you're wrong. That's what all those podcasts sound like. There's no real men anymore. But for all of you real men listening, here's a commercial for a pill that will give you a boner. All the podcasts dedicated to the resurgence of the great alpha male are paid for by pills that give you a boner. I still get my own. Like some kind of sissy. You ever seen Texas Chainsaw Massacre? Yeah. That is best title in cinema history. Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Then again, after Texas Chainsaw, it kind of writes itself. After Texas and Chainsaw, you're not going anywhere other than Massacre. Right? Texas Chainsaw Bake Off. No one's going. Because Texas is one of those states, you put it in front of something and it sounds a little sketch. It's like Tennessee. You put Tennessee in front of any activity and it becomes a sex move. Went home last night, tried a Tennessee car wash. How'd that go over? Well, I didn't warn her, so I'm staying with my brother for a couple of days. She'll get over it. This isn't the all ages show, is it? That would be a disaster. Most people know me from Planet of the Apes. Have you seen that film? You've probably seen that film. Here's the thing. One of many movies I've made. I've had a big career. I'm more than just one movie. But I like Apes. It's a good film. There's a couple things in it when you watch it now, it doesn't really make sense. I don't know when the last time you watched it was. But there's one scene, and if you haven't seen the movie, you're not going to get this joke. So now might be a great time to check your phone. Charlton Heston, who's a delight, was, God rest his soul, I'll tell you one thing about him, whiz in the kitchen. That man could make an ambrosia salad that would knock your false teeth out. He should have worn a conical hat with a half moon and a star on it, because you get him in the kitchen, and he was a warlock. So there's a scene in the movie where he's talking to Nova. And Nova's an interesting character, because as Charlton Heston said in the movie, he couldn't find any women on earth to love. And then finally, he met the perfect girl for him, one who could not talk. It really does make sense when you look at the world the way Chuck did. And there's a scene where he's telling Nova about Stewart, who is the female astronaut that didn't make it out of the crash. And he says to Nova, he says, "Did I tell you about Stewart? There was a lovely girl. She was to be the new Eve. With our hot and eager help, of course." I bet Stewart didn't know that. I bet Stewart thought she was the botanist. And then there was going to be a terribly awkward moment. Well, let's crack the seal on Operation New Eve and see what we have to do. Orders are orders. But it was the 60s. Another movie I made in 1967 starred a little fellow named Elvis Presley. Maybe you've heard of him. Called Clam Bake. Second best film ever made about a clam bake. What I like to do is when I go to see Planet of the Apes, wait to the very end of the movie, and when he sees the Statue of Liberty, go, oh, wow, they had a Statue of Liberty too. And then the people who agree with you, you don't want to talk to those guys later. But as I said, it was a different time. Things change over time. You know, the morals change, attitudes change. And what's great about science fiction and fantasy is that it always encourages change and growth and expansion of your mind. It's where the smartest people go. It's why I love places like GalaxyCon. And I'd like to sing a little number for you. Thank you. Stop it. Stop it. Stay dressed. Now, this was a song that was a giant hit. And if you hear it today, it's a bit of a head scratcher. So, Ian, hit it. You came on like a dream, peaches and cream, lips like strawberry wine. You're 16, you're beautiful, and you're mine. Now this was a hit. This was a big hit on the radio. And it was written by the Sherman brothers, Richard and Robert Sherman, two big songwriters. They wrote Mary Poppins. They wrote a lot of Disney hits. They wrote Snoopy Come Home. And before that, they were just songwriters. Tin Pan Alley songwriters. Probably had an office in the Brill building. And one day they walk in and they go, hey, we got an idea for a song. And you know, they're in their 30s. And they go, what's the song about? And they go, it's about a guy and he wants to date a 16-year-old. And they said, go for it. It was a different time. You came on like a dream, peaches and cream, lips like strawberry wine. You're 16, you're beautiful, and you're mine. You're my baby, you're my pet. We fell in love on the night we met. My hand stood still, my heart went pop. Ooh, when we kissed, I could not stop. You really should have stopped. You know when you should have stopped? When you had the thought. We all have thoughts we shouldn't have. We all think things we should. Don't write them down. Don't sing about them. And for God's sakes, don't do it. I don't have that particular problem, but I have other problems. With me, it's murder. I'm always thinking about ways to murder people. 23 hours of the day, if you see me, I'm probably thinking about a fun way to kill somebody I don't like. My favorite is drowning them in the toilet of a cruise ship. I like it because it adds insult to injury. What you're really saying is, the ocean's too good for you. The toilet will do fine. You came on like a dream, peaches and cream, lips like strawberry wine. You're 16, you're beautiful, and you're mine. 1973, New York City. Gene Simmons walks in to KISS headquarters. And he says to Paul and Ace and the other guy, he dresses like a cat. Like, what was he thinking? Like, I'll be a demon, I'll be the star child, I'll be the space ace, I'll be a cat. And women can throw cans of fish. So Gene says, I've got an idea for a song. I go, what is it? It's called Christine 16. That sounds good. What's the song about, Gene? It's about a guy our age, early 30s, and he sees a 16-year-old girl leaving high school, and he wants to date her. And they all went, okie doke. No one thought, you can make her 18 and it doesn't change the song. But it was a different time. There were songs back in the day that were popular. Bill Cosby's I'm going to drug and abuse you for Christmas. You don't hear that on the radio anymore. Breathe into this rag and let me love you. That song, a country hit, no longer on the radio. I know you won't believe this, but Michael Jackson had a song called Pretty Young Thing. Can you imagine if they played that on the radio today? Well, they do. You're 16, you're beautiful, and you're mine. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, I spilled the mic. Shall we get the show going? Oh, I'm going to need my cheaters. Hang on. I don't need this anymore. I want to get the show. I don't need this anymore. I don't need this anymore. Ah, there you go. My first guest is nothing short of a show business legend. How many people remember the Incredible Hulk? How many people remember a little film called Pumping Iron? Please welcome a show business legend and a very dear friend. He's one of my closest friends, and that's amazing because we've never met. Please welcome Lou Ferrigno right to the stage right here. Come on out, Louis. We're lying. He's not here. Oh, there he is. Lou Ferrigno. I need my cheaters.
Hello, Dr. D.
How are you, Lou? Sit down, my good friend. How are you?
This is my first interview with an ape. Let's see what happened. Hey, how are you?
And you've been in Hollywood a long time, so that's something of a surprise. Of all the people over the years to play the Hulk, you're the one that is known the most. You're really the credible Hulk.
I'm the OG Hulk.
You're the OG.
Don't forget that.
Good Lord, I wouldn't. Now, you started bodybuilding because you were bullied as a child. Is that correct?
Yes.
Yes. Once you began to bulk up, did you ever confront the kids that bullied you?
You want to know something? They became my biggest fans because they didn't have a choice.
That's exactly what I thought.
Exactly. I know, that's a good question.
And you didn't, did you? And you were like, okay, fine.
Well, you know something? I got so beat up as a kid. So it's funny because when you're a kid, it leaves scars on you. So later in life, I realized, children don't have the psychological defenses to defend themselves. So when you get older, it's different. You're more mature. But it's funny, they all turned out to be my close friends. But when you were young, I was bullied big time.
Yeah. And
I should have had you come down the street. They looked at you.
Well, that's the thing. You were bullied and became a bodybuilder.
Yeah.
And you got paid to be a bodybuilder. No one will pay me because I was bullied, but I would just curl up into a ball and sob into my t-shirt, and no one will pay me.
The Hulk never wears a t-shirt.
No, you couldn't wear a shirt.
Of course.
Did you ever say when they were doing the show, what if I left a shirt on just once?
Have you ever see with the Hulk with a shirt on full time? No.
No.
Always ripping off.
Always ripping off.
All the time. That's why a lot of mothers hate me.
The shirt budget on that show.
Yeah.
So this is an idea that I had for
Okay.
you. The people that bullied you became your fans. You should have bullied their children.
I think so.
Yeah. Another good thing to do when you're bullied is just pretend you're a ghost. No, don't bully me. I'm a ghost. I will haunt you at recess.
You know, funny. I read lips. I'm hard of hearing, so when I look at him, it's like I don't know if I'm giving the right answer. So.
You're doing great. But I said, I know that you have hearing issues. And they said, don't worry, he can read lips. And I said, oh, that's not going to help him even a little. You might turn back. I was afraid you would get so confused you'd turn into Bill Bixby.
I'll leave that up to you.
So you get into the world of bodybuilding, and your big opponent is Arnold Schwarzenegger and pumping iron.
Yes.
Are you guys still friends?
Oh yes, very much.
Were you friends with him when he was the governor?
You mean we competed? No, we weren't friends back then.
Yeah. No.
But he was my idol, but now we're good friends.
Did you ever fight back then? Or is it just like healthy competition?
No, it's a healthy competition. It's like the gladiators. You know,
Yeah.
you're competing and your body is doing the talking.
Right.
Yeah, like, I'm better than you, I'm bigger than you, my leg is bigger than you. Look at you. You're from Germany, I'm from Italy. My parents from Italy, I'm the more superior, stuff like that.
But now, do you guys hang out now? Do you go to the gym?
Oh yeah, every time we train together. As a matter of fact, 8 months ago, I went to his house, we played chess a lot. He's a great chess player.
That's what I heard, that you guys played chess.
And he beat me. I'm practicing.
I would just want to see Conan and the Hulk playing chess. It's beautiful. And you played football.
Yeah.
For the Toronto Argonauts.
Yeah.
And you got let go because you broke someone's legs?
Yes, what happened though, I play offensive tackle, and there's this kid, the big kid, he's out to get you. So I never played football before. I was learning how to play football. So when the quarterback said he hiked the ball, I just rushed at him. And I remember he went down almost into the ground. I broke both of his legs. And I said to the coach, listen, I really don't like hitting people. He said, get out of here, go back to bodybuilding. I mean...
You were fired from a football team for being too tough. But you didn't, as you said, you didn't enjoy fighting people.
Oh, yeah.
But on the Hulk, didn't you fight a bear?
Yes. It was not fun. And now with that fighting a bear, we had a hard time filming because there was always green makeup on the bear's face. Every time we did a scene, the bear kept licking his face, licking the makeup. And I wanted to get done shooting. We shot like maybe 14 hours that day in the river, over and over, in the water, out of the water.
Okay, we have to break this down. So they call you up, and you say, this week you're going to fight a bear. And are you like, sure?
You think I wanted to?
No, that was my question.
Well, you didn't have a choice. I wouldn't get a paycheck.
Yeah. The bear is calling the guy from the football game. You know what he did to me? Bears are so stupid. Bears think we all walk around with shit in our pants. Because everyone they've ever caught but do you freak out when you see green paint now? Do you get PTSD?
I still have dreams, nightmares, getting made up again. And sometimes it's not pretty because it's something that haunts me for years. But the best part about the makeup, the paint, sometimes my toenails would be 9 months be green after shooting because it stained the toenails. And people would say to me, why do you paint your toenails green? It's from the makeup. I mean, it was scary because it stained my toenails. I know it penetrated my skin.
I had to wait for it to grow out. And was it all over your house and your clothes? At home?
Well, what's funny, sometimes I would take a shower, and then I would go to the gym, and I started working out, had a tank top, and the tank top started to have green on them. Because when you sweat, it comes through my pores. It's all over the T-shirt. While I'm working out, people say to me, why is your T-shirt green? But they didn't realize from the makeup from the Hulk, it comes through the pores.
I just think that a grown man having to put on a lot of makeup to do his job is pathetic.
You used to tell Universal Studio that.
And you were on Battle of the Network Stars.
Yes.
That was. Does anybody remember Battle of the Network Stars? For those of you who don't, back when there was only 3 major channels, you knew it wasn't like today where there are 8,000 shows. And people will come up to me and ask me if I've seen a show and I've never heard of it. And then they'll reference another show that I've never heard of to explain the first show. You know, like, have you seen Wigwam Cemetery? No. It's from Armpit Nights. I don't know either one of these shows. It's on Vuzuvulon. I'm lost. But they would get all of the major stars from all of the shows together, and they would do a competition, Battle for the Network Stars.
Yeah, because we had different networks. As a matter of fact, my competition with David Letterman, LeVar Burton, when it came to the tug of war, they were frowning on it because they were scared, because when you lose the tug of war, you go into the water.
Right.
David Letterman was the first one that went in the water because I did not want to lose the tug of war.
Sure.
So that's
that
why
would be
today,
bad for your business, yeah.
But it was a great competition. It was fun.
I was against Frida Kahlo in speed waxing. Did you ever do the David Letterman show?
Not really.
Yeah, not really. He's all right. That's the rumor I'm starting. There was one other thing that I wanted to ask you. I have so many notes here. I have two more questions. Does anybody have a question for Lou? Okay, good.
Ooh.
Very, very. How do you stay in such good shape? There you go. He asked you how you stay in such good shape, because you're 87 years old now?
No, 91.
91?
No, to stay in good shape, I'm very consistent. You know, consistent means that when you work out, I work out regularly 3 to 4 days a week. I watch what I eat. It's like clockwork. That's why for my age, at 73.
You're 73?
Well, how old do you think? Yeah.
I assumed that you were like in your mid-60s. Not that, but you look great. Congratulations.
I'll pay you later. Thank you.
Yeah, that's great. Because I'm only in my late 50s, and I'm so old I fart dust. No, so you stay consistent. What do you eat? What is your diet?
My diet?
Yeah.
Meat, fish, eggs, fruits, and vegetables. I eat my calories. I stay away from diet sodas, heavy sauce, heavy cream, like heavy salad dressing. It's all about eating your calories but not drinking your calories. I just eat healthy. You know, everything moderate.
That's very good. Eating your calories, not drinking your calories. And how many a day for you, on average? 2,000?
I would say so, about 2,400, 2,500. Yeah, I just eat by feel.
Yes. I just want to get to the point where I go never mind. I was going to say lather, rinse, repeat. But apparently I'm not capable of doing that. 2 more questions. Your son is an actor.
Yes.
And he's on, is it SWAT?
I think the TV series SWAT.
You think?
He has the same name, but a lot of times the check goes to my house instead of him.
That's good. Good on you. What he doesn't know won't hurt him.
No.
And what do you have coming up? Because you've come here, you stay very busy. You're a sheriff?
Yeah, deputy sheriff for the last 20 years.
Have you ever arrested anybody?
Oh, I do a lot of search and rescue. I'm out there because I went through the academy and been certified, not the honorary thing. See, my father was a police officer, so I grew up with that.
In New York?
Yeah, I like to give back today, especially protecting life and property.
Yeah. And where are you a deputy sheriff?
Los Angeles and San Luis Obispo.
St. Louis.
Yeah, I take it very seriously. It's a great career.
Yeah. And do you have do you do any like fitness counseling, like on your website? Do you talk about like your workouts and things like that?
Oh yeah, I do a lot of speaking, motivating people, overcoming fear, maximizing personal power, fitness, everything, because I've encountered all that my whole life, those situations, and I learned to change negative to positive.
That's amazing. I do a little thing. I teach people that when they have adversity in their life, what I like to do is stay up late at night and eat a jar of peanut butter while looking at the clock and sobbing. That works for me. Ladies and gentlemen, what a delight. Lou Ferrigno, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you.
Come in here.
Thank you.
Come in here.
Let's give this guy a big hand.
Come on.
I enjoy your interview very much. It's been a pleasure. Thanks for having me.
The pleasure is mine.
Thank you.
And your microphone seems stained with lipstick, but it's not
Okay,
yours.
I got a lot of bananas out there for you.
Okay. I think you leave your mic right there, and you're good. Thank you. Lou Ferrigno, ladies and gentlemen. Oh. Who was that? That was, did anybody else have a question for Lou? And I'll answer it. No, that was a delight. I was really worried because they said he reads lips. And I went, oh, good. This will be fun. But let's keep the show moving along at the breakneck pace that we've established. But my next guest actually is a friend of mine. But don't hold that against her. She's one of the legends of voice acting and animation. She's been Daphne on Scooby-Doo for the last 43 years. Please welcome just a tall glass of yes and a side order of Great DeLisle! Hello. There's your microphone, dear. How are you? Thank you so much for coming.
I feel like I wore the right genre of dress for this wonderful backdrop. It's like 70s. I got it. Is it 60s or 70s?
I like to think that we're stuck right around 71.
Okay, perfect.
When it was still my favorite period of everything.
Yeah.
Is just like 66.
Okay.
Just before the 60s got creepy. You know, because the 60s went from like Adam West as Batman to the Manson family. Like, I like it when it's just, and then before it gets creepy. Kind of right in the pocket.
This is in the disco era, so I think I'm a little bit late, but that's fine.
No, it's good, but same with the 70s. Like 76, 77, and then the cocaine hit and it got a little creepy. I've never done cocaine that I can recall. That said, I have no memory of 1977, 8, 9. I went to a New Year's Eve party in 1976, and I woke up on Robbie Krieger's roof in Venice 5 years later.
Oh, I love it.
Now here's a question for you, Gray.
Okay.
And you have the most avid fan base of I think anybody here.
Well,
how many people are here just for Gray?
Well, thank you very much. My own mother thought I was a monster. She was right, of course, but it still hurt.
You guys aren't big with the Q&A.
I just banish them all day. They're terrified, so, yeah.
I could pull a Bengal tiger cub out of my butthole.
Quit bragging.
And you guys would go, can't believe he dusted off that old chestnut. So how long have you been Daphne?
25 years.
25 years.
Yes.
There's
a creepy mystery, you know. I don't know how I got the part, but yeah.
The average lifespan of a Great Dane is 7 to 8 years.
Oh no.
So how many Scoobies have you watched go do?
They just keep replacing them with one that looks just like the other one, just like when your child's pet dies and you just have to go buy it.
Yeah, just like, oh yeah.
It's a guppy. We'll find one.
First, you know the old story. Do you know this story?
No.
A guy has a cat that he loves. He has a cat that he loves, and he's going away on business. So he says to his best friend, do you know this? He goes, would you watch my cat? He goes, sure, I'll watch the cat. So the guy goes away on business, and he calls on business. He goes, what happened? He goes, I'm not going to lie to you. The cat ran out the front door. He got hit by a car. And the guy goes, what? And he goes, that's not how you tell me. And he says, what do you mean? And he says, you got to ease me into it. First thing you say is, how's the cat? I go, well, he's up on the roof, and I can't get him down, but the fire department's going to come tomorrow. And then when I called tomorrow, you go, the fire department came, but he got down off the roof, but now I can't find him. And then the third day, you say, I can't find him, I don't know what. And then the fourth day, you said, they found his body, I'm sorry, he's dead. And that way, I've been steeped into it. I'm used to it. It's not a shock. And he goes, I'm sorry, I made a mistake. He goes, Jesus, have you told my mother? And he goes, well, your mom's on the roof, we can't get her down.
My friends and I tell that joke a lot now. If someone's dad dies or anybody dies,
they're
they
up
say,
on the roof,
my dad's on the roof, we can't get him down. And we're like, oh, you know.
Now, how often, what is the workload of Scooby-Doo? Like, how are you 2 days a week, 3 days a week?
There's
or is
always some project happening. The last thing we did was just a pinball machine, but I hope they write some new iterations of Scooby-Doo.
Okay, so you're not
currently in production,
but
because everything's like, getting bought out by some private equity firm or something like that.
Everything is owned by Enormo Corp.
Yeah, exactly. But we did the pinball machine, and they gave me one, which is great. I don't have any place to. I was like, oh, great! Now I've got to find a place for this 6 by 10 foot thing. But it is cool. It's very cool. My kids play it all the time.
I have a lot of famous friends. Surprise. And you can always tell the creepy ones, and they give you you do them a favor, and then they give you a gift. Clearly this is a pinball machine you got 10 years ago that you don't want.
I know.
And you're giving it to me as if my last name is Goodwill.
Well, sometimes if
Thanks for the Ghost Protocol hoodie.
Yes. The job gifts I don't like. Like a lot of the studios will send you, like Nickelodeon one time sent us this ping pong table, and I'm thinking it's amazing, but it's giant. I have no place to put it. So then I tried to give it. I couldn't even give it away, and I was like, "Merry Christmas," or Happy Holidays.
It's a white elephant gift.
Happy Holidays. You've got to go on Craigslist now.
Do you believe in ghosts?
I do. I've had ghosty experiences.
Okay, let's hear it. Well, I'd love to hear it, but this isn't the time or the place. Tell me about your ghostly experiences, because I do as well.
Well, I stayed at this haunted hotel in Jefferson, Texas, and apparently it had been like a hospital and a school and like all the things that attract the ghosts. I was with my husband at the time. He's one of my best friends, but not my husband anymore. But
he is.
He said the air conditioner's blowing on my hand, and I'm like, what? And he's like, it keeps blowing on my fingers, but it's like one at a time. It's so weird, and he couldn't put it together. And then in the morning, the lady goes, oh, you were in whatever room. Did something play with your fingers? And he was like, what? And he goes, oh my God, my fingers were going cold one at a time. And then she goes, that's also the room with the knocking headboard. And I said, I didn't, when you have a dream, but you don't remember it until later someone mentions something? Well, I was like, I had a dream all night that someone was throwing change at our headboard, and I was just too tired to deal with it. Yeah.
No, I believe it all. I do find this how are you on reincarnation?
I've heard some amazing stories about it. So my own son was like, remember when we had this car? He had a little Hot Wheel Thunderbird car with a little round window. And he goes, we used to have this. He was like 3. And he goes, we used to have this car, not this time, but before. And I go, what do you mean? He goes, we had a big one like this. And I was like, what do you mean? And he goes, well, you went in the water and I cried and I wanted to come see you again. And I was like,
oh.
And
he thought you were Mary Jo Kopechne.
I don't. The weirdest thing is, I had a dream about my son as an adult, and we were having this really fun.
Your son is an adult.
No, I know he's an adult now, but he turned into the person I had the dream about. I had this dream. I was at Yosemite, and I had the dream about I was in the dining room at the Yosemite Ahwahnee Lodge at Yosemite in my dream.
So a while ago.
Well, yeah, before he was born.
Okay.
He wasn't even conceived yet. But I was having lunch with this really nice guy, and we were laughing, and it was so funny. And And then I said, oh my gosh, I shouldn't be on this date. I'm married. And he goes, oh, we're not on a date. You're my mom. And I go, what? And he goes, yeah, you're my mom. And I go, is Murray your dad? Who is his dad now? And he goes, yeah, Murray's my dad. And you guys do a great job, please. Because I was thinking of getting a divorce. And not because I didn't, it's just, we were just more like friends than anything. So, and he goes, please don't get a divorce. I really want you to be my parents. And I was like, okay. And I looked at his hands and he had Murray's hands. And so it's the day he was born, I pulled his little hand out of the blanket and he had Murray's exact hands. And he's turned into that person that I had lunch with in that dream.
So you're saying that he asked you to stay married to Murray?
Yeah, he said,
I
gotta be
enough to conceive him.
Yep.
And then eventually...
Yeah. I got pregnant like 2 months later.
Okay, and eventually you guys get divorced.
Yes, but we're still best friends. We still go on vacations. It's weird. Yeah.
Yeah, that is. I know I've been divorced 11 times. But there is a time, and I know you know this feeling, where you're in a relationship and you just wake up one day and you look at the person that you're married to and you think, I'm tired of having all this money.
Thank goodness
I wish I had about half of it. I'd like to take half of it and throw it in the street.
I didn't have to give him any money, thank God. That's probably why he's still one of my best friends. But yeah, but the other one, I did have another husband that I did have to give. Oh,
you didn't have to give the person you divorced any money? I'd like to live on that planet. I'm stuck here. We're on Earth Prime.
My other husband, though, he drove
How many are there?
He drove three ex-husbands.
Okay.
Sorry. The first one was the DeLisle. That's not my real name, but it's funny because that guy married someone and moved on, and he was looking at houses in Los Angeles, and the guy goes, DeLisle, any relation to the voice actor? And he goes, that's my name. She took it away. Anyway, but no, but the second one I did have to give. Oh, no, the third one I had to give some money to. And my kids would brag about the nice car that Daddy was driving, and I was like, yes. I'm not going to say anything. Yeah. He was like, why do we drive this small car when there's 3 children? I'm like, I know, because someone got a lot of it, and we're going to get a new car later. Anyway.
Yeah, sometimes I drive all the way up to Ojai to see the house that I no longer have a key to.
Just visitation. You got visitation.
Sure. Yeah. I like to just touch my stuff. Here's my thing with reincarnation.
Yeah.
Is the people you meet, they're always like, well, I was Cleopatra, or I was in King Tut's. It's never like, I was a plumber from Cleveland. Do you have any wisdom from the great beyond? Don't put copper wire on PVC tubing, it will melt. You know.
Oh my God. Funny thing about that, my friend is very just not handy, and he had some plumbing problem, and he went to Home Depot, and he said this teenager was working there, and he goes, hey, is this okay to put in plastic pipes? Because I've got plastic pipes, and he picked up and the guy goes, yeah, it's fine, and he started walking away, and my friend's like, it is, so it's, you barely even looked at the thing. You're just going to tell me it's fine? Some pimply-faced little kid doesn't know anything about anything. And the kid goes, it's in a plastic bottle. And he said, I felt so stupid.
I get most of my routine day surgeries done by people I meet in the parking lot of Home Depot. Have you ever realized that we're living in a backwards episode of Scooby-Doo where we met a shifty real estate developer and he turned out to be a monster?
That is so great. I love it.
Now, as a voice actor, you live, your living is your voice.
Yes.
And do you do anything to protect your voice? I know with me, I don't speak to loved ones.
Well, since the real estate developer took over, I don't speak to half of my family anymore.
Yeah.
So,
does that happen here? Now, does that happen here? Because this is, I would imagine you don't do you talk and not about that, or do you not talk? Generally, yeah.
I started out not talking at all. I didn't talk to them for the entire presidency, and then I was like, so then the holidays came around, and I was like, all right. So and Biden was in office, so we kind of rekindled things. And then this time I'm like, okay, I can't cut out my family. I do love them. They've just been watching too much bad television, so we don't talk about it. We get together, we do not talk about it. So
I'll tell you a quick story.
Yeah.
Tell me if this has ever happened to you. It's a quick story. So I'm in the kitchen, and the current Mrs. Gould, who's that? Hang on a moment. Mrs. Z comes in the house, and she's doing very well. She's no longer afraid of the hose, and she knows that she can leave of her own will whenever she wants. And she says, Mr. Z, which is what she calls me.
Yeah.
There's a hummingbird in the yard. And I said, oh, that's delightful, Sepulveda. And she says, I think we should get a hummingbird feeder. And I said, great. Because I thought it was a great idea. If I didn't think it was a great idea, I would have said, great, because I can't get divorced again. Mr. Z, I have an idea. I want to get a cheese grater and sand your nipples off.
Oh my.
Great.
Great.
So we have that conversation, and then about an hour later, I go to check my email, and on the side of my computer screen, by my email,
Hummingbird
ads
feeders.
for hummingbird feeders.
Yes.
Has that ever happened to you?
Yes.
It is, not only is it spooky, they also think it's my entire life. Now I can't go online for anything. Here's another hummingbird feeder. Here are 2 bird feeders. Have you ever dated a bird? Do you want to date a bird? Here are some people in your neighborhood that like to date birds.
Here's boner pills for birds.
Exactly.
It's called woodpecker. I don't know if
That's
you've
right,
seen it.
Thank you. Thank
A little
you.
punch up for you.
Interesting choice of words. But then there was the thing. So one time I post a joke about Chuck Schumer, Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer, who I like, but I want him to do more.
Yeah.
I want him to do anything. And then my feed is just full of garbage because based on my activity, we noticed you made a mild joke about Chuck Schumer. Would you like to commemorate January 6th with this canister of freedom mace? No, I wouldn't.
Oh my God.
Elon Musk is proof that God has a sense of humor. Remember Stephen Hawking?
Yes.
Okay, Stephen Hawking was the smartest man alive, but he couldn't talk.
Yeah.
He knew more than anybody, but he couldn't tell anyone.
You got to hand it to him.
Elon Musk is the richest man on earth. He's never had sex. He's as calm and confident as a 12-year-old at a strip joint.
Oh my God.
And I know he's never had sex because I've seen him laugh.
Oh,
The
I
last
just feel
time
like he wants everyone to like him so much, and everyone would just think he was like a hero. He could be the freaking Superman if he just was like, I'm fixing the water in Flint, and I'm doing these things, and it wouldn't change his life at all.
It's a simple, and if there are children here, I'm going to say this anyway, because it's a good lesson to take through life. It's very simple. Don't be an asshole. That's all.
Oh my God.
Just don't be an asshole. I was talking to my brother, and he doesn't like trans people. Oh. He knows what they're up to. He follows them. He's got every angry meme, and he's like, he's never met one. He'll never meet one. There are only 11 of them, and they're too busy playing high school sports. You can't get any FaceTime. And he's like, I don't like him. Great. Don't pay any attention to him. You know what I don't like? Diarrhea. So I don't walk around with my face in a bowl in it. God, I hate this stuff. Just live your goddamn life.
I was just thinking, men have assaulted women in bathrooms, and they've never done it they've never needed to become a trans person to do that. They just do it.
Yes,
If you
exactly.
really want to assault someone, you'll just do it. You don't need to go all that trouble.
Look, we if you want to stop sexual assault, we could outlaw the Catholic Church, but good luck with that.
Yes. Oh.
Boom. Truth bomb, setting them off left and right. Speaking of which, your mother was a born-again Pentecostal. What the hell is that?
I know, it's terrible. Well, she was a terrible drug addict when I was little, and then she got Jesus, and I'm not sure.
As opposed to an excellent drug addict.
Well, some of them are. I've dated them and married them. No, but my mom, sometimes I would wish she was doing drugs again when she was Pentecostal, because I think Pentecostal is almost worse.
Is that where they dance with snakes?
Yes.
See, the problem with that is going to church to dance with snakes is it takes all the fun out of dancing with snakes. Like, oh God, I feel like I'm at church.
They were always casting out demons in the living room and stuff. That's real. They really did that in our living room. Yeah, a lot of demons.
And so how did you handle that?
Rebelling. I left home at 16 and...
Right.
Yeah, and I moved in with my drama teacher, so that worked out.
Yeah, he's not a Pentecostal.
No, it was a woman. It was a woman.
Okay.
Yeah.
And is she still around?
No, she passed away she helped me get into my acting school. I didn't realize how sick she was, and then this is gonna become a bummer. But she passed away right after that, and she was like, she loved butterflies. That was her thing, butterflies. And on my 25th birthday, I had started doing cartoons, my dream, and I said, Mrs. Hunt, I wish you were around to see that I did all the things that you helped me do, and every present I got butterfly barrettes, I got butterfly cards,
yeah.
I mean, it was amazing. And I felt like it was her saying, I see you.
Is your mother still around?
Oh, my mother,
I
yes.
don't care about Mrs. Hunt. She
Beloved
can burn
Hunt.
in hell as far as I'm concerned.
My mother is still around and
Mrs.
annoying.
Hunt. Ah! But your mom's still around.
My mom's still
you know
around.
Why? Crazy doesn't end.
I know. They're going to live
Crazy
forever.
keeps going.
But I will say she's off the Trump wagon now. She was really Trumpy, and then I think it's a bridge too far at this point. Because she's super Christian. She's like, I think he might be the Antichrist now. And I'm like, well, okay. I'm like, okay, I'll take it. She's like, there's a wound to the head, and she was going through all the biblical stuff about it. And I'm like, whatever gets you off that train, I'm fine with. Yeah.
Usually the thing that really turns people off is when something finally affects them personally.
Yeah.
I didn't mind him setting other people on fire.
Yeah.
But now that it's me, I think it's wrong.
Yeah. Also, I think her racism helped too, which was terrible. But she goes, and I don't like him hanging around with all those Saudi people. And I was like, oh my God, okay, you could have just stopped with not liking Trump. Now you took it too far. You took it too far.
It's always there like a warm, comforting blanket. You went to high school with Mario Lopez.
I did. He was my prom date.
Have you seen him here?
Yes. It was funny because I grew up Aaron Gray Van Osbury was my name, but I kept only my middle name. I started using that as my first name. So in the hotel lobby, I just heard this, Aaron, and I'm like, who would ever call me that? And it turned out Mario.
And you saw him?
Yeah.
Does he just eat soup? Do you know what I'm talking about? He was on the internet talking about souping, and I don't get involved in anything that clearly has another meaning in prison.
You know, the Mormons do the soaking. It might have been close to that.
Yeah, I think he just eats soup. I think that's all he does.
Well, he looks amazing. Have you been by? He hasn't changed at all since he was 15 years old.
He's doing well. So you have seen him here?
I have, yeah. We used to actually live very close to each other, so I would go. I love his wife, and so I would go to his kids' little birthday parties and stuff. Our kids grew up around the same time.
He seems lovely. I've never met him, but like someone with an affair, I'm always with him in hotel rooms. Every time I turn on the TV, he's telling me what movie to watch.
Oh, I know. When it used to be a sore spot when I was married to the third guy. We would go and check into a hotel room. He's like, every time we get in, we're going to see your ex-boyfriend. But the funny thing is,
I can see that being a problem.
He took me to see Pretty Woman when we were in high school. That was out.
My favorite horror movie.
And the favorite horror movie. That's what I thought of back there. But the whole time he was doing these like lifts, he was like doing exercises on the thing. And I was like eating popcorn and going, this isn't going to work out. He's like super into health, and I want to eat this entire popcorn by myself, so this isn't going to work.
Now, in addition to, before we bring Dana out here, in addition to your voice acting, you are a singer. You're a singer-songwriter. You have several country albums.
Yes, and if you follow me on Spotify, Gray DeLisle, I'll give you a little free thing at my table. So and you don't have to wait in line. Just go, Gray, Spotify, and I'll run it out to you.
And are they by and large country albums?
Yes,
Is that your
it's like
genre?
classic country, sort of Johnny. I just made a record with Johnny Cash's son.
Is it America? Is that the country?
Americana, yes.
Because the country music, it's always America. What if they
It's not
played other countries?
Uzbekistan. It's not Uzbekistan, no.
They could play country music, and it's just Sweden.
I know. There's a great Swedish band called the Countryside of Harmonica Sam, and they're wonderful.
Really?
Yeah.
This is not country music, but it bothers me. Remember the Cars?
Yes.
Okay, remember the Cars.
Yeah.
Remember that song? I was listening to it on the radio. It's like you're 16. Like I heard it And I'm like, well, this is terrible. They have a song called "You're All I've Got Tonight." No woman wants to hear that. It's like it's you or Pornhub in a bag of Doritos. What do you say?
It's like
You're all I've got tonight. It's you. Come on. What do you say?
It's like you are so beautiful to me.
To me? Yeah. Let me just clarify this. Other people might think you look like a wildebeest. I find you moderately attractive. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I can't live if living is without you. Red flag. Yeah. Why do you call this song, If I Kill You, Do I Become You? It's a red flag. So are you like 50-50 in terms of your efforts? A singer, songwriter, voice actress, or is it like a hobby? What do you do?
Well, I have a full-on career. I have a Grammy. I tour Europe twice a year.
Right, no, I know.
Yeah, so I mean, I love them. I've been writing songs since I was 5 years old. I feel like I'm just as good at writing songs as I am. Music doesn't pay,
You
though.
can do yes, no,
because of Spotify. You would have to, I mean, I do have quite a bit of listeners, but, it's just, the cartoons pay for the music is what I'm saying.
Yes, one for them and one for me, one for them. One last question.
Yeah.
And you can stay when Dana comes out, or if you want to go back to your
Well,
table.
I told people that I'd be back at my table at
All
6
right.
o'clock.
All right, look, don't yell at me.
I know Dana wants me to stay, too. He gave me a lot of shit back there. Oh,
What'd you-
sorry. He gave me some problems back there for leaving. But anyway.
There's a story. You've told me this story before.
Yeah.
I want to share it.
Okay.
You got divorced.
Yep.
One of several. It's good, though.
It's good.
It's good that you're committed to it as an activity. You're not a dilettante. You get divorced as often as you can.
No half measures.
Yeah,
Dana.
it's like me running a marathon. Because you accidentally confessed to having an affair.
Yes, that's true. We were playing Scrabble. I love Scrabble. It's one of my favorite games.
Sure.
And I really thought I had the perfect word, but I didn't have one of the letters. So I thought, I'm going to turn over one of my tiles and use it as a blank, like instead of, and
Sure.
so I did that. And I was like, oh God, I was feeling guilty. And I also was having relations with the man that I was a host with at Chin Chin in Studio City.
Okay. That's
This is
a
the
part to
early
keep
marriage,
in
very
mind.
first marriage. But he goes, are you cheating? And I go, oh my God, yes, I am. And I kind of talked about the guy, and then he's like,
Right.
no, I meant, did you use this like blank tile? And I was like, that too. Yeah.
Yeah,
so-
you can't. There's no tap backs on that.
It was very, the telltale heart. Like it was just it was dying to come out.
Was that it?
That was it.
Oh,
that was
boy.
it. But then I ended up setting him up with his second wife, who they've stayed together for 30 years now, and they have 2 kids. And they live
One
in
thing
Canada.
I've learned from 10 marriages is that when your wife calls you and says, hey, I was just looking in your email, I just drive off the road.
Yeah. She's like, what are all these bird feeders?
Yeah. Why do you have so many massages? Well, great. I could talk to you all night, but I promise to get you back to your table. And you're so, ladies and gentlemen, the Incredible Hulk, Great DeLisle! Thank you, love. You're so wonderful. Great DeLisle, no more heroin in her life as of 48 hours ago. How's everybody? You have one more guest in you? Yeah. All right. Having a good time? Who have you met that you like? Anybody been a jerk? No? Then my job here is done. No, that's the problem. I've never met Bill Shatner. And I'm afraid to meet Bill. Because if it doesn't go lovely, I don't know what I'd do. Because I'd have to throw away like 2/3 of my DVDs. It's just I don't want to talk to you. So I just cut him a wide swath. I will say this. I was at a deli in Los Angeles, California called Art's Deli. And I'm there with my agent. And my agent says to me, turn to the left very slowly. And I turn to my left, and there is William Shatner. with some people, and he's wearing Birkenstocks. And I can only describe William Shatner's toenails as Jurassic. They look like invisible Doritos. Ladies and gentlemen, our next guest is a comedy legend. Please welcome Master Shake himself, Dana Snyder! There you are. Oh, how long have I been standing? My elaborate system of hernia trusses actually got you on this time.
I was at Arts Delicatessen a couple of years ago, and James Woods
Oh, yeah.
was at a booth on the side, not the ocean front, which are the window
Right.
booths. He was over there, and he stood up with his people. He was there with his people,
Sure.
and he stood up and said loudly, "You guys are garbage, and you're buying my sandwich." And he walked out.
James Woods, forgive me if there's a child, what's more than one?
Children.
James Woods is as crazy as a shithouse rat.
Which for the children's children is super crazy.
Yeah, that's mega crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Said it. He wasn't yelling, but he said it real loud, like
I-
full volume speaking voice.
This was my favorite thing today. I was in the show, I was in the main hall, and I'm walking out of the main hall, and I see a lovely married couple, and they're walking in front of me, and they're both in costume. So I thought, these two, this is my theory in life, Dana. There's a lid for every pot. And
Yes.
and
A key for every chub,
Key, yep.
a lid for every pot.
right.
Yes.
And these two have found each other, and they're so happy. That God bless. I'm envious of their relationship. And they walk out of the hall, and the man turns to his wife and goes, "See? Information booth." I was like, oh. And my butthole got so tight, I could have sharpened a pencil. Yeah. Okay. How are you both Wookiees, but you have so little in common that you're fighting over the location of the information booth? Now, Dana, you've done so many series on Adult Swim. Who do you think people have listened to while high more, you or Pink Floyd?
They know. I very quickly, not to
No, there's no rush.
not to derail this.
There's no rush. There's no rail. And there's no rush.
Because Gray was out here, and I remember I got a weird award, which I can't remember.
You got a weird award?
I got a weird award for being in a Scooby-Doo movie, direct to DVD,
Right.
for being the first person in an animated anything who used a CPAP.
Really?
Yes,
Your
and
character used a CPAP?
my character used a CPAP, and it was the weirdest Scooby-Doo thing they ever did because the celebrity of... You remember they were for a while doing like...
Hell yeah.
Scooby-Doo meets Kiss.
I did it.
Scooby-Doo meets
Yeah.
WWF,
Yeah,
whatever.
Don
This was
Knotts.
Scooby-Doo meets Bobby Flay.
Perfect.
Because when you talk to kids...
They love Bobby Flay.
Bobby Flay! They love him.
Love Bobby Flay.
So I played the food reviewer, and at one point they thought there was a ghost in the hallway. It was a red herring.
By the way, I love the idea of a haunted hallway.
Yes.
Like, this is a low-rent ghost, can't get a house, a room is out of the question.
Yeah, no.
But the hall is my dark domain.
They were hearing these ominous, groan, ghost-like voices. Then they finally cut the door open, and it was just my character on the CPAP, which is what they thought were the ghost groans.
Do you use a CPAP?
I do. Actually.
I've always wanted to sleep like a 50s jet pilot.
Or a 2075
Yeah.
hospital victim.
Good night, honey. Rogue One, this is Rogue Leader. We're starting our attack run.
Yes.
I like how by the way, in case you're wondering, in Star Wars, in case you're wondering, in Star Wars, the overweight pilot is named Porkins.
Yeah, and
Hey, George, how about you took 5 more minutes?
And so that guy played Major Porkins in Star Wars. I know you know this because you're a showbiz legend. But in Indiana Jones, the same actor plays the guy who yells in at Indiana Jones. And his name in that one is Major Eaton.
Good Lord.
No, that's not a.
And I will see that, and I will raise it. He is Eckhart in Tim Burton's Batman.
Yes!
And he's dressed like Orson Welles from Touch of Evil.
From Touch of Evil.
Why don't girls like us?
I mean, I can't figure out what George Lucas's beef against this guy of making fat jokes towards him. Porkins and Major Eaton.
He's eating too much.
Yeah. He was trying to help him.
Well, the guy who wants money is named Greedo. Just take 5 minutes.
Everybody comments about how low-hanging fruit Avatar was. Like the mineral was called unobtainium. It's no different from Greedo or those earlier ones.
Unobtainium is pretty lame, though.
Yeah, but the greedy guy named Greedo.
Sure.
He's green, the color of money.
Get it? He's greedy. Get it? Now, you started out, you were born in Allentown, Pennsylvania.
Yes. I just love drinking you in. I'm sorry, I'm not, yes.
Go ahead.
No, I just love drinking you in. You're perfect. I love it.
I'm a grown adult.
Yeah. That's why I love drinking you in. That's why I love this.
Yes. What do my children, what's your dad do? Oh, I don't know. He has a job.
He goes away sometimes.
He goes away. He goes away and comes back with a lot of cash, dirty cash. I love going to the bank on the Monday like an embarrassed stripper, those dirty ones, as opposed to a proud stripper. True story. Now you have kids, don't you?
I have one child,
How
one daughter. She is 11.
Okay, this is a great story for you then. I have 19 stepchildren, and we don't speak, and that's how I preserve my instrument.
Yes.
Because I'm all about my craft.
And you don't speak to loved ones.
I don't speak to loved ones. I'm like a narcissistic version of Bill Maher. I'm not the hail fellow well met that Bill is. So I'm at a restaurant, big restaurant, vegetarian restaurant, and there's a lot of, nothing against it. I make the mistake of saying I'm not vegetarian. And one guy, it's always this one guy. This isn't the story, by the way. This is just the aperitif. This is the aperitif. This is some shrimp.
The amuse-bouche.
This is an amuse-bouche. An amuse-bouche. What don't amusing women have anymore? If you know, you know. It used to be you'd see a woman and it looked like Lenny Kravitz was tying her shoes.
I was talking to my friend earlier, if I can interject for a second.
Please.
I was talking to my friend today about...
Because it's such a Swiss watch.
about old black and white movie actresses that I find very attractive. I was like,
Sure, oh, yeah.
Barbara Stanwyck. She was like, and my friend goes, she could never have worn a bikini. It's he goes, all those women were amuse-bouche. Oh. That's a more modern thing. I said, you know what? She was wonderful.
She's fine. She is as God made her.
She was great. Sorry, that was it.
It's quite all right.
Don't make a rally out of it. It's okay.
So I'm at this restaurant, and I make the mistake of mentioning that I'm not vegetarian. And this one guy goes, "You'll eat a steak?" I'm like, "Yes." Like, "Oh, you don't want to watch them murder the cow?" And I went, "Right. I love my brother. I don't want to watch my parents have sex." You don't have to drag every activity back to the point where it's awful. Everything's awful eventually, I promise. And so I'm at this, and then somebody's talking about, "What's your daughter doing?" I talk about my oldest daughter, and she's a scientist. My oldest daughter is a scientist. She's a paleontologist, and God bless her. And
Just fossils and stuff,
fossils,
right?
Yeah, she loves it. She calls them her babies. Look at my babies. So I say, and I jokingly, they say, "What does your daughter do?" And I jokingly say, "Well, she's a paleontologist. We wanted her to be a stripper, but she does what she does." And then this one woman goes, "But if she wanted to be a stripper, then that would be okay." And I said, "No, it wouldn't.
No, it would not.
No, it wouldn't. I'm as goofy and lefty as the next person. Supreme Court Justice, stripper, same thing. No.
No, not at all.
No, not at all. I wouldn't mind if she made their outfits.
That's a costume designer.
Fun little cowboy outfits. Yeah. That'd be good.
That's like a strip line producer.
Exactly. Now you know.
Or costumer.
It is what it is. So your daughter's 11?
She's 11. She's about to. In fact, I was talking to Gray backstage because her oldest son went to middle school where my daughter is about to go. And I had texted her, or I had emailed her. I said, "Gray, we're about to make this monumental decision."
Is this the treehouse school or something?
Yes.
Yeah.
I said, "We're about to make this monumental decision.
I know, Gray.
I think we're about to go somewhere. Here, could you call me? I wanted to talk to you about this." Bob, I send a 5-paragraph annoying email. She writes me back. She's like, "Text, loved it. It's great. Goodbye." two words. She goes, "Just do it." I said, "Okay."
Yeah.
So I was catching up with her back there.
That's
where
why
you
I
were
don't
with
want to
Lou.
meet. That's why I don't want to meet Shatner.
Yeah.
Like you're my childhood. You're my hero. Thank you.
Yeah.
And then he leaves, and you just
Mike Broder told me a story. The guy who created this whole
yeah.
show.
Mike Broder, ladies. Yeah.
He has a picture with William Shatner doing like this by his heart, and he said, "Come with me, Mike. Let's take this picture." He goes, "What? Okay." Took the picture, and Shatner's doing the 0 over his heart. He goes, "This is how much room I don't have for you in my heart." Because I love you, but I have no space for you.
That's like a double negative. That's
yes,
like a, yeah,
yes, right.
Yeah. It's like if I could kill people, you would be the last person on the list.
Yeah.
Which is not to say you wouldn't be on the
Yeah,
list.
so I'm still getting killed just when you're best at it?
I would eventually get around to killing you.
So when you've perfected the act of killing,
exactly.
I will be...
When you become the seasoned killing machine you desire.
Right.
But I wanted to ask you a question. You were raised in Allentown, Pennsylvania.
Yes.
And then you moved to Las Vegas.
Yes.
Was your father like, "I've been a coal miner, but I think I want to be Liberace"? Like, what happened?
I'll tell you very quickly. It's very close.
Delightful.
My father went to high school with Larry Holmes, who was the heavyweight champion of the world.
No kidding. Of course, Larry Holmes.
In 1978, Larry flew my father to Las Vegas for his heavyweight title fight. And my father...
Was that with Ali?
No, I don't remember.
Ali did fight Holmes.
He did, yeah, they did. But he flew to Las Vegas. He landed at the airport. All he saw was construction cranes. My father's an architect. He landed, all he saw was construction cranes. He came back home and he said, "Larry just won." He said, "Now heavyweight champion of the world. This is a sign. I saw another one with construction cranes. We're moving to Las Vegas." My mother and I hated moving to Las Vegas because we're ripping us away from our family and friends.
Yeah.
Now it's only 5.
And what must be, it should be fair to say, the world's most depressing town.
Yes, yes.
You see, you go to Allentown, Pennsylvania, you see 4-year-old kids. When do we die?
Yes, yes.
When is this over?
Yeah. Can we get out of this sooner?
Yeah.
Is there just stuff?
Yeah.
Yeah. But that's why we moved
The state
there.
bird is Morrissey. It's a depressing town. This is a depressing town.
When I'm talking depressing, I mean depressing. Yeah.
So, and how old are you when you moved to Las Vegas?
We drove to Las Vegas in a Cadillac my Uncle Charlie gave us from his Cadillac dealership.
Oh, my Lord.
In 1978, my mother was pregnant.
And that Cadillac is a quarter mile long.
Yes.
1978
So we
Cadillac.
only had to drive for like 3 days.
You had to walk to the front of the car.
Yes. Yeah, the door was the kind you had to kick open with that little strap that was like 6 feet long. We drove there. My mother was pregnant with my brother. We got there.
You seemed unsure of that.
Say that again?
You seemed unsure of that, but yes, he would have been your brother.
I think it's my brother.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, allegedly.
Yeah.
Let's just leave it at
He's
that.
absolutely partly your brother.
Yeah, I definitely think of him as my brother.
That's all you need to know. Yeah. Our parents will not tell us. One of my brothers is adopted. It's either Cornelius, Ursus, or Chan.
Well, you know, the mystery's kind of fun.
So go on. You're how old now? You go to Vegas and you're how old?
I was right before kindergarten. So basically, as soon as we got there, I started kindergarten.
Right.
So all my schooling up through 12th grade was in Las Vegas.
And what was your high school team? Was it like the
We were the
Rock-
Wildcats.
Okay, it wasn't like, not everything is gambling related. It was like,
No, yeah, we weren't like the
Squealers.
The crap outs.
The Bagmen.
Yeah, right.
Go Bagmen.
The shooters.
Yeah. When you graduate high school, they don't get a diploma. The guy just comes up and goes,
Yeah.
bring in a new student.
Yeah, they clean that. You know, the dealers, like the blackjack dealers, when they leave, they have to open their hands and do this to show the cameras, the eyes in the sky, that they're not palming anything.
Wow.
Yeah, it's a real untrustworthy place to live. But then also, like, my other favorite thing about living in Las Vegas was I used to work at the Payless Drugs. That was like my high school job.
Uh-huh.
And
when you think about it, Payless Drugs is sort of like unobtainium.
yeah, exactly.
Like it's really right there.
But in every grocery store, drugstore, thing like that in Las Vegas, there's always a bank of slot machines or video poker machines.
Yes.
And back in the old days when it wasn't as automated, when you needed actual quarters to put in, there's always this sort of hunched over woman with a little vest that says change on the back.
Yep.
And she has that little bus driver.
Yep.
And when we worked at Payless Drug, this lady was the change lady.
Uh-huh.
Her name was Madge. She was there.
Central casting.
Yes. I mean, like, straight out of. She always had a cigarette, because you could, at the drugstore, but because they had a little gambling thing,
'Cause
you
it's
could
Vegas.
smoke when you were sitting at the
Sure.
cigarettes,
Right.
but not by the pharmacy, because
But
that
yeah.
would be rude.
But it's big as baby smoke. They come
Yeah, exactly right. And I just remember, like, I'd go in, and sometimes I worked the registers, but mostly I worked in the camera department, way in the back.
Right. Where the real money is.
Yeah, but you would see these people coming in every day, same time every day. They'd get there at 8 or 9 o'clock. They'd be like, "Hey, Madge." She'd be like, "Hey, Chuck." "Hey, Dad." You know, always like the dangling.
Sure.
Yeah, that little thing dangling out your lip. And she'd be there till 6 o'clock. Basically, I think we probably had the same hours. She was just a little more devoted to it. She'd show up 30 minutes earlier.
Did you see shows? Did you, like, when you were a kid, like, did you see?
Oh, yes.
Was Elvis? Elvis was gone.
I didn't know. Yeah, Elvis was gone.
But like Penn and Teller or?
I certainly saw. My favorite show I saw.
Yeah, what was your favorite show?
My favorite show I saw was, I went and saw Ray Charles.
Okay.
It was like 80s.
He didn't see you.
No. Yeah. Well, but he waved.
That's a freebie.
But
He waved to you?
he waved in my direction.
Sure.
I took it as me.
Right.
But who opened for him was George Kirby.
Okay.
Which I love
sure,
George
yeah,
Kirby. Like,
funny, yeah.
I saw George Kirby, and that was like, I mean, I love Ray Charles. That was exciting.
Yeah, you can't not love Ray
But
Charles.
then also, I went and saw, I went and saw Rickles, of course, in Vegas. Like,
king.
kind of like, not the height of Rickles, but not too far after the height.
Right.
And
Rickles,
Frank Gorshin opened for him.
a true lunatic.
But I noticed, like, Gorshin and George Kirby almost did the same kind of act.
Sure, they did. Yeah, they did.
Like, my favorite thing about Frank Gorshin, we're the only people who know what we're talking about right
you
now,
know,
right?
Frank Gorshin
Yeah.
was the Riddler on the Adam.
He was the
Adam
Riddler,
West
yeah, on
Batman.
Batman. But I just remember...
And a true lunatic.
I just remember, the only thing I remember about his routine, other than loving it, was he talked about, what if gangsters and Western cowboys from all the movies were in the same movie? And he was like, and the gangsters would just look at these cowboys and go like, look at a beautiful set of teeth on these guys. I mean, he went on for 5 minutes about, I mean, look at that guy. He's in his chaps. Look at that beautiful set of teeth. And then the cowboys were like, what's with the crooked nose on these magooks? He started like mixing it up like.
I always think when a comedian says something like that, I think, you worry too much. It's never going to happen. Like, what if Reagan worked at the drive-thru at McDonald's?
Yeah.
Don't worry about it. He won't.
Yeah, right.
You're fine. Keep going.
It's like, I mean, I love and loathe impressionists.
I am the same way.
But like the thing I'm immediately like check
talking
out
about
is like,
myself.
what are you doing here, Inspector Clouseau? Like where they have to announce the name.
Yeah, and then they turn
know.
around and they come back.
And
and it's
because
the same
also
person.
like it's the only way
They
you'll know who they're
saying.
doing.
Yeah. We're talking about Rich Little, clearly.
Yeah. I'm like,
Who's
that was like
terrible. Who no one likes.
My dad was inducted into the Las Vegas Hall of Fame about 10 years ago.
Is that code for getting killed?
Yeah. Yes. Okay. He's buried under those E.T. video games out in the desert.
Are they going to find your dad when,
Yeah.
when Lake Mead is finally evaporated?
The other inductees who were there, who I got to meet, had a drink with, post-attack, Siegfried and Roy.
Post-attack?
Post-attack.
Wow.
So he was like, you know, a little affected, but he was still, but also Rich Little.
Yeah.
Who had his Catskills Crimson #6 hair dye in.
Yep. I
and
call
was
that Catskill Copper.
Yeah, you're right. Jackie Mason had the Catskills Crimson. He had the Catskills Copper.
Right.
He was a profound prick.
Yes, he was.
He cut in front of me in line for no reason. There were two people in line.
He's the only rude Canadian.
Yeah, that's it.
Yes.
That's exactly what it is.
I did The Nanny. I did an episode of The Nanny with Rich Little. And he was not pleasant, even remotely. And Fran Drescher had it with him.
She was up.
She'd had a lot of little.
What was his? Well, I mean, what was his?
Fran Drescher, a delight.
What were the shittiest things he was doing?
He played a judge.
Okay.
And he kept saying, when I come in, the audience is gonna applaud, so maybe I'll do like Johnny Carson, acknowledging the applause. And by the way, I'm not lying. I was there for this. And Fran Drescher goes, no, because you're pretending you're a judge and you don't know there's an audience. We're doing a show where you're a judge and I'm in your chambers. We don't know about the people clapping.
It's not the
in
people in the
show.
chamber applauding for him.
Yeah, I have to explain the concept of acting in front of an audience to you. It was bad. But yeah, my favorite thing about Rickles was towards the end when the stuff he said made no sense. It was just rhythm. It's like, it's not. It's nice to see you. Why don't you go home, put some pancakes on your shoe? What?
To go back to another of my my favorite Vegas performer stories. I did go see Don Rickles.
By the way, can I interrupt your interruption?
Yeah.
When Roy got attacked by a tiger,
Yeah.
it wasn't one of those things where people went, "How?" It was like, you know that guy that puts his head in a tiger's mouth? Yeah, he got attacked by a tiger. Right.
Yeah.
Like, it was like,
Okay.
yeah,
That tracks.
that tracks. No one I know of, but what happened? I go,
Why?
yeah. It's like crocodile hunter.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
He got killed by a wild animal. Right.
Crocodile?
Yeah.
No. Why?
Yeah, exactly. He didn't. It was wasn't it a
Stingray or something.
Stingray.
Yeah, one of those.
Yeah. Never get killed by something
Yeah.
named after a Jerry Anderson show.
I was.
Oh, hang on. Are we getting a signal? No. Someone should,
Oh.
I saw a hand go up.
Oh no,
They're
someone's
drinking.
throwing up.
They're
back there.
drinking
Don't worry.
backstage. We're stuck out here. We only have 3 more hours.
I went to Las Vegas. I went back home from Las Vegas. I was in college. I was going to do Fiddler on the Roof. I had a long beard.
You're a big musical theater guy.
Because you had to, yes,
and
you
yet,
had to,
wife and child.
yeah.
All right.
I know. Go figure.
Go figure.
Wife.
You live long enough, you see everything.
Beard and child.
Right.
But I went to go see
Siegfried
Don
and Roy?
Rickles.
Any kids? No?
Yeah.
All right.
They're just confirmed bachelors.
That's what I love. Gay lion tamers, gay German lion tamers, and they found each other.
Yeah.
Lid for every pot.
That's right. I went to go see Don Rickles. He came out in the audience. I think it was at the Hilton. They were playing the theme from The Godfather. He's walking through doing this to everybody. Comes from the audience.
Right.
You know, and they put us way up front.
Oh,
This was
okay.
back in the days when you still had to tip
Yep.
the maitre d' to get up close. We did not tip well. But the guy still put me, because I was 22 years old with this big Fiddler on the Roof
You're
beard.
like Tevye, and you look.
I wasn't Tevye in that one, but I still did grow my beard.
Yeah.
But we can't, because clearly, anyway, long story short, he's picking people out of those. Finally, he starts picking on me, brings me up on stage with another guy.
Right.
This guy was like, "What do you do?" And he's like, "I'm Daryl. What do you do?" "I'm executive for blah, blah, blah." Turns out he works at a state of Kinko's or something. And he's like, "What are you?" He brings me up. He goes, "All right." And then he goes, "You guys come up on stage." So we're all 3 of us. Now, Don Rickles like, "Well, my heroes."
Sure.
We're on our knees. He goes, "We're going to play Japanese prisoner of war camp." And he's in the mic.
I knew it would be tasteful.
Oh, yeah. And then, he puts the mic by his side, and he's turning to me and Daryl, and he goes, "Now, I'm going to talk to you in fake Japanese, and you just talk back to me also in fake Japanese." We're like, "Okay."
What? This
So-
is Operation What Could Go
Yeah,
Wrong.
yeah, right. So he turns to Daryl, and he goes like, "Hu-de-gu-gu-ga-gu-gu-ga-ga." And Daryl's like, "Bookie, bookie, yakamo." And it's all a gag. It's all a
Right.
gag. And everybody laughs. And then he goes to me, and he's like, "Yukaga, hadei. And then I turn back to him, and it's not going to sound good now, but "Hai, hu-to-ga konzen kuyaro." I did bitter fake Japanese, and he did, which was the point.
Right.
But everybody
You wanted
is
to
leveled.
shame him.
I shamed him. But everybody laughs, and he turns and he goes off the mic, he's like, "Kid, that's great." Because I'm young, you know?
Yeah, kid.
And then he stands up. So the gag is over because I did it too good. I ruined the gag.
Sure, you ruined the gag.
But we all stand up. He goes, give Daryl a hand. He goes, "Daryl, who are you here with tonight?" He goes, "Oh, my mom and dad." He goes, "Give Daryl a bottle of champagne on me for his mom and dad." "Dana, who are you here with tonight?" I'm like, "Oh, I'm here with my cousin Jeffrey." He goes, "Give Dana a picture of Daryl enjoying his champagne with his mom and dad."
Great.
And then but he goes, "Don't leave yet. Don't leave yet." Down like this.
Yeah.
So he goes, "What's with the beard?" I say, "Oh, I'm going to do this is all on the mic."
Yeah,
I'm like,
yeah.
"Oh, I'm going to go do Fiddler on the Roof." And then he kind of puts it down. But he's like, "Kid, that was just great." He's like, "That's so nice." He goes, "I wish you all the best." He goes, "I don't know what you're ever going to do with your life, but he goes, "It's just so nice. You're real sweet.
Yeah.
You were nice and sweet." And then back on mic, he goes, So Dana, what's your last name? He wants to give the whole name in the audience. And he kept
Snyder.
He kept joking about the band, because you had a live band in those days, a full orchestra.
Right, full orchestra.
And there was this big fat guy who he kept calling Fritz, because he just looked like a German. He could just call him a German Nazi. And he's like, "What's your last name?" I go, "Snyder." He goes, right in my crotch. He goes, "You German son of a bitch! I knew you were a Nazi bastard. You're here to ruin the show."
Amazing.
But it was one of the greatest nights of my life.
That was the thing with Rickles. See, Don Rickles and Jerry Lewis were the inverse of each other. Where Jerry Lewis would go on stage and act like he was everybody's best friend.
Yeah.
And then off stage, Jerry Lewis was a monster. Jerry Lewis was a monster. Children with muscular dystrophy learn to walk just to get away from Jerry Lewis. Don Rickles was like terrible on stage, and then off stage was the nicest man in the world.
Do you care if I take our picture?
Please.
No one will believe.
The professionalism of this. So, do you know Bobcat Goldthwait? Do you know Bobcat Goldthwait? Okay, so Bobcat Goldthwait and Don Rickles are in a movie together. They're in Scrooged.
Oh, yeah,
With
that's
Bill
right.
Murray.
Wait a minute. Rickles was in Scrooge?
Yes, or they did an episode of Tales. I think he is in Scrooge, but they did Tales from the Crypt. Huh? Thank you, Tales from the Crypt.
Oh, yes, yes.
So Bobcat says, the whole time he was like, "Why are you talking with marbles in your mouth? What, am they get you out of a school?" Like he's just railing Bob. And then like everyone's gone. It's just the two of them, and Bob's like, do you have somebody to take care of your money? Do you need a reference? And he was just like, "Call me if you need a reference." Yeah, let me take it. The only thing about Bobcat's act that Don couldn't understand was that he wore jeans on stage. Everything else to him was fine. But the fact that Bob went on stage wearing jeans, Bob couldn't wrap his head around. We have just a couple more minutes, and I'm going to leave some time for signing if people want it. But I'm going to tell the Don Rickles story, and then I want to ask you about Dallas and Robo.
Oh, which Andy Sipes, the creator, is also in the audience.
We can bring him up.
Oh, Andy, come up here.
Andy, come on up. We're going to talk about Dallas and Robo, and then we're going to have a big finish where I tell a joke that Don Rickles told.
Oh.
It's called Stolen Valor.
Okay.
Because he's dead.
Come on,
Jerry. Andy, everyone. What's his last name? Sorry. Sipes. Andy Sipes. Hi, Andy. How are you?
I was in
Forgive
Cincinnati.
me for not standing, but I'm holding in a volcano of a pee.
I was doing a show at the Cincinnati Playhouse in the Park, and the stage manager, Damn Yankees, was in town, which Jerry Lewis was on tour with. And he was like, "Oh, we're going to go afterwards and meet him." This was the biggest thrill of my life to meet him. We go back, whatever. Again, now at this point, I'm 25 years old or something. And the stage manager of Damn Yankees is like, "Oh, this is Cosmo," was the stage manager. He goes, "This is Dana. He's real thrilled to meet you." All he did was like go up and down. He goes, "I have ties older than you."
Yeah.
That was it.
Thank you.
That was my meeting with Jerry Lewis.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Great. You guys have a show that's on YouTube, but we need more of it. It's called Dallas and Robo. Has anyone seen Dallas and Robo?
Wow.
Exactly.
A forest of hands.
By the way, just so you know, these are people that managed to find out about this. And they still haven't seen Dallas and Robo.
Well, if Dallas and Robo had seats and air conditioning, they probably would also find that.
But tell us about Dallas and Robo because it's so funny.
Wow. This is blowing my mind. Dallas
I'm
and
glad
Robo.
you added your mind.
Well, that's later. That's later backstage.
That's in the
part of my
that's in
contract with Mike
The
Broder.
Roddenberry Hall.
Dallas and Robo is it's a buddy trucking comedy about two space truckers. So think like 1970s Smokey and the Bandit.
Convoy.
Yeah, Convoy, Highballin', those type movies. Yeah, Jerry Reed type movie.
The great Smokey Roadblock.
But it takes place in space. It stars John Cena and Kat Dennings.
Yeah. Wait a minute.
And
Cena.
Giancarlo Esposito, Tim Blake Nelson, Jane Lynch, Dana Snyder.
Anybody will do it.
Yeah, Tim Blake Nelson.
That's an amazing cast.
Yeah, it's insane.
It's an amazing cast.
And no one watched it.
What's weird is that it was a great cast, nobody watched it, and I wasn't involved, because I'm usually the one common thread in that.
I am beside myself that Dr. Z knows about Dallas and Robo.
I'm a huge fan.
That's amazing.
I know, because Dana knows my friend Dino Stampanopoulos.
Yes.
Now this, in case you don't know Dino, Dino is friends with Andy Dick, and yet still walks among us. Do you do what I do? When I hear that Andy Dick has been arrested, my first thought is, he wasn't in jail?
He'll be good for 48 hours.
Didn't he just hit the Pope with a folding chair? He hit the Pope with a folding chair, and then the cop that arrested him, he gave an unwanted hand job to on the way to the cruiser. An unwanted hand job is not a phrase you hear a lot. Even me, guys that don't want him will tell, all right.
I was doing a podcast with him and Dino while he got a phone call from Uber corporate to tell him he was kicked off Uber for groping his Uber driver.
Sure.
On a 5-minute drive.
Yes.
Not a
All
long
the way to the podcast?
Yes.
And Andy, here's the thing. Andy then will not be able to get an Uber, so he'll hitchhike. And while hitchhiking, he'll hitchhike a guy that just won the lottery, cashed his ticket, that guy hit a tree and dies, Andy gets the money and walks away. Like, I don't know what he did in a past life, but that guy gets away with everything.
He told us that story about...
Just so we know what I'm saying, I want him to die.
He told me a story. He came home shit-faced on Christmas Eve, and he was so shit-faced he fell asleep on the dining room table, but then somehow shit and pissed all over his children's Christmas present.
Sure.
Sure. And see, this someone who knows him. The reaction is sure.
And all I think of in
That's
my
just
mind,
a Wednesday.
I imagine that image, see that image in your mind, and this is all I hear. I see trees of green, red roses too.
Laying on his back, pee stream coming up.
There's a true story. Dino can confirm this story. I was, in addition to being in front of the camera, I do a lot of work behind the camera because I'm the total filmmaker. Yes. And I worked on the Ben Stiller show, which I'm proud to say had the average viewership of the number of people in this room right now. And during lunch, Andy and Dino would often go to the adult arcade at Santa Monica and Western. Yeah. And by arcade, think of games that you play in your pocket.
But there were quarters involved.
There are quarters involved, private booths, and everywhere the smell of men enjoying themselves. And I would have to go, and the PA was a young lady, so they go, well, we're back from lunch. Somebody get Dino and Andy, and I'm not telling the young lady. So I would go, because I'm a good ape. And I literally, like a line of doors, I'm like, Dino, is that you? We have to get back from lunch. Oh, it's not Dino, but you leave me alone. I'm sorry. Dino, is that you? We have to get back. It was, and nobody punishes them. I run a yellow light. I'm in county for 3 weeks.
Right.
Well, you're Simeon.
I know. So, real quick, because we are pressed for time, what can people do to help get more Dallas and Robo going? Is it
Go-
on YouTube? Can we
It's on.
spike the
It's
number-
on
Can we
YouTube.
spike the numbers?
It's on YouTube Premium. That's the problem.
You're
Do you
screwed.
pay for YouTube?
Yeah,
you can
you're
watch
screwed.
it.
You
YouTube
just
had
said
that
you-
great idea.
All right.
You know that thing you get for free? How would you like to pay for it?
Yeah, that was a tactical error on our part to do a deal with YouTube Premium.
Hanging with Dr. Z is on
So-
YouTube, so I feel your pain.
Just go watch it on. You can watch the first episode.
I'm sure
on
there's some
YouTube
nefarious
Premium.
digital person who
Yeah.
put it on Reddit or something.
It's so funny, and I highly recommend it. Before I say goodnight to you, and we say goodnight, I have an announcement, and then I'll tell a great Don Rickles story.
Oh yeah.
If you want a poster or a photo signed, hang out. I'll come out. We have them. Because I would hate to pass up any opportunity to take money from you. Now, the posters, you should know, they're $30. They cost me, I don't know, 7 cents a piece. But I give the money to a charity. And that charity is, I have a series of passenger vans. And we go into inner cities and we get the winos off of the streets, and then we re-release them back into the wine country. And it's lovely. We check in after a month, and they've dug a series of tunnels and elected a queen. Fascinating. So I'm in Vegas. I'm seeing Don at Caesars. And Don picks out a table, and he's roasting these guys, and he says, "Where are you from?" And they say, "Iran." It's like, forget. Katie by the door. Yeah. Low-hanging fruit. Well put. By the way, don't rent that movie. Yeah, because it's going to take you to a website that you don't want to be a part of its target demographic. So he says, "But here we are. I'm a Jew, you're an Arab, and we're getting along. And we can get along if we can share a laugh. Can't the world get along? Can't the world share a laugh?" Ladies and gentlemen, give these guys a round of applause. Could you put the light on? Stand up. Stand up. So the guys stand up, and the spotlight goes on him, and he goes, "Shoot!" It's the hardest I've ever laughed. Ladies and gentlemen, hang out if you want to say hello or you want a photo. But first, please give a round of applause to Lou Ferrigno, Gray DeLisle, Dana Snyder, and Farple.
Andy Sipes.
Andy Sykes.
On our way here, I sat next to Lou Ferrigno on the airplane, and we were backstage in your luxury green room.
Yes.
I said like, "Oh, we were sitting next to on the plane together," and he's like, "No," and then I said, "No, we were sitting next," and then he was like, "Oh, was I an asshole?"
Did he say that?
I said, "No, you're very nice."
He's
He goes,
so nice.
"Okay, yeah."
He's
He was
so
he was
nice.
wonderful.
Yeah, he's so nice. And they said, like, I knew he was hard of hearing, and they said, "That's okay, he can lip read." No, that's not okay. That's not going to help him at all. But no, what a sweetheart. What a sweetheart of a guy. I've never bumped into anybody at any GalaxyCon that wasn't anything less than lovely. Celebrity or attendee.
Don't meet
They
William
vet
Shatner.
the niceness here.
Everybody's great,
Yeah.
except that Darren Doctorman. No.
Yeah.
So
We're
that's
looking
it,
at
ladies
you,
and-
Darren Norris.
Thank you so very, very much. I'll be out in a few minutes if you want to hang out. And if not, have a great rest of your weekend. You've been lovely. I'm Dr. Z, Dana Snyder, Andy Snipes. Good night, everybody.